Sure. Erev Tov, good evening. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We create space for each other. We create room for each other to celebrate, to be together, to be with one another in Shabbat, whether it is literal spaces in our sanctuary, whether it is providing various apparatuses, hearing and seeing so that we can follow the prayer book. Most importantly, we create space for each other for Shabbat by being with one another and by celebrating with one another. So we turn to page 10 in our prayer books. Page 10 in Mishkan Tefillah, at the top of the page, Hine ma tov u'manayim, how good it is, how joyful it is that we are able to celebrate Shabbat together. Page 10.
Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Let's turn back in our prayer books to pages 2 and 3 as we rise for the blessing of our Sabbath lights. We'll be led in that blessing by Susan Coben, who is also ushering and is going to be pressed into service to also do the sermon tonight. And maybe something else, I don't know yet. So, pages 2 and 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chad l'kner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chad l'kner shel Shabbat.
Let's remain standing as we turn to page 20. We welcome Shabbat. We welcome our best selves into our lives like a bride, like a queen, as we join in singing Lecha Dodi, verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, turning on the last verse to welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 20.
Likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nikabela. La la, lecha dodi, likrat kala,
Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el hamer yuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'hi l'tihila.
Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela.
Likrat kala
V'hu b'necha ki mekor ha'baracha merosh v'kedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava techila la 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 lecha lecha
dodi
likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Hitoreri, ki va'orech u'miori, uri shedaberi, kevod Adonai alayich niglal lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat Nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat Nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, tokemoniam segula, boi chala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela la la. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Penei Shabbat Nekabela. You will not find the following reading in your prayer book. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain. On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share. There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted. On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others. On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal. So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. Chatzi Kaddish is on page 145. Page 145.
Yitgadol v'yitkadash Shamei Rabbah. Be'amad yivrach rutev yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon yomechon u'b'chayet kol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'b'zman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yehesh me'rava mevorach. Le'olam olam le'amaya. Yitbarach, yitbarach v'yishtabach. V'yitba'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalel v'yitalal. Shemei dekusha rechu. Le'alama min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushmechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'ama
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna meshane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil ben yom uvein layla, Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. In each age we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment we are addressed by the world.
In each age we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment we stand face to face with truth.
In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder.
In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world firm on a foundation of truth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, בשנתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך ובביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 151. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
That oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event.
So we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft evening shadows of your truth. Your true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, hapares sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Beni uvein b'nei Yisrael od hi le'olam, od hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, ve'et ve'et ha'aretz ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi, shavat vayinafash. Uvayom hashvi, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam.
Let's rise now together for the Amidah.
Ufia
On page 160. Page 160, let's read together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Retzei, Retzei, Retzei Adonai Eloheinu, Be'amcha Yisrael, Utefilatam, Be'ahavot Tikabel, Utehi L'ratzon Tamid, Utehi L'ratzon Tamid, Avodat Yisrael Amecha, Baruch atah Adonai, She'otecha levadecha be'ir ananot, She'otecha levadecha be'ir ananot.
Top of 163. For the good in us which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
We offer praise.
For the desire in us which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
Life and nature, harmony and beauty. For the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha na'eh lehodot. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hambarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. On page 253. We take time in our service to think of those who are in need of healing, a healing of body, a healing of spirit. If you are thinking of one or more than one who's in need of refuat hanefesh for refuat haguf, and wish to share that person's name out loud, I invite you to do so as my eyes scan around the room.
Judy Childs.
For all those we name out loud, for all those we name in our hearts, together we pray for healing.
Mekor habracha le'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Let's rise now together for Kiddush, and we'll welcome forward any of the kids who want to join us up on the bima. Take a Kiddush cup from Brooke Carroll, our board member, who's going to lead us in the English of Kiddush. Brooke, along with Rachel Werkheiser, is our membership chair. Very important role. Any other takers? A few people? Only with Bobby?
That's okay. Bobby accompaniment is...
Bobby accompaniment is allowed. We've only got Bobby up here, so Page 5 for the Hebrew of Kiddush.
Let us praise God with the symbol of joy and give thanks for the blessings of the past week, for life and strength, for home and love and friendship, for the discipline of our trials and temptations, for the happiness that has come to us out of our labors. You have ennobled us, O God, by the blessings of work, and in love has sanctified us by Sabbath rest and worship as ordained in the Torah. 6 days shall you labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to be hallowed unto the eternal your God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei beriah gafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai נקרא קודש, זכר מציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, אותנו קידשת מקומים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקודש השבת. Amen.
Chaim. Stretch our hands out over our children while they take a sip. You can sip from the cups, it's okay. And we say over them, may God bless you
May God bless you
and protect you.
and protect
May
you.
God's light
May God's light
shine in you
shine in
and
you
inspire you.
and inspire you.
May God's countenance
May God's
ever
countenance
be turned toward you
ever be turned toward you
and bless you
and bless
with
you
shalom,
with shalom,
with peace.
with peace.
Amen.
Amen.
You can surrender your cup to Mrs. Carol.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. We'll remain standing as we prepare to remove our Torah from the ark for our Seder Kriyat HaTorah. We may be seated. And we can switch to our Plaut Chumash, our Plaut commentary of Torah. We are switching to page 415. I'll announce that before the natives get restless. Page 415 in our Plaut commentary. We're in Parashat Bo, in the book of Exodus. Bo contains a lot of good stuff. It's got the last of the plagues, the killing of the firstborn, the escape from Egypt to the Sea of Reeds. Doesn't have the Song of the Sea. That's next week's Torah portion. Come back for that. That one's cool too. But importantly for us tonight, this describes as Israel departs the land of Egypt, how long they were there. Now I want you to think for a second. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of our ancestors. To be in slavery in Egypt, it must have felt like forever. There was no knowledge of a time before that. There was no knowledge of the supposed land of milk and honey. It was only Egypt forever and ever and ever. But we read in our text that it came to an end. It was finite. 430 years. And on the last day of the 430th year, on that very day, and it doesn't say the Israelites went out of Egypt. It says God's host, Tzvaot Adonai, went out of Egypt. And describes that night, that first Pesach, as Leil Shimurim, which the text is going to call a sojourning night or something like that, a vigil night. But if we hear that word Shimurim, we know that it is a watch night. Tonight is a watch night of a sort as well. Tomorrow, so many are going to be gathering all over this country again. It seems like one march after another, after another. There's going to be another one tomorrow in Newark, in Philadelphia, in Westchester, and all over this country. All over this country, to protest against injustice, to protest against all the darkness we see in the world. And after a year, it may seem like darkness goes on forever. But darkness does come to an end. And freedom comes to all of us eventually. For our Aliyah, I'm going to call up anybody who's marching in any of the women's marches tomorrow. Any of them. Newark, Westchester, Philadelphia, if you say, but you didn't say the name of the one I'm marching in. Come on up. DC, New York, whichever one you're going to. If you're getting on a plane right after this and going to Vegas, great. Come on up. We'll take it. Once again, page 415. And if you want to follow along in the Torah scroll itself, you're welcome to join me up here. We invite Ya'amdu. We call up all those marching for justice tomorrow. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Vaed. Shemo. Amen. Starting with verse 40. Moshav b'nei Yisrael asher yashvu b'Mitzrayim 30 shana v'arba me'ot shana. And it was that Israel lived in the land of Egypt for 430 years. V'hi miketz 30 shana v'arba me'ot shana. V'hi be'etzem hayom hazeh yatsu kol tzivaot Adonai me'eretz Mitzrayim. And it was, at the end of 430 years, on that very day, all of God's host went forth out of the land of Egypt. Leil shimurim hu l'Adonai. It was a watch night for Adonai. L'hotzi'am me'eretz Mitzrayim. Hu halayla hazeh l'Adonai. A watch night for God to take the people out of the land of Egypt that very night. Shemorim l'chol b'nei Yisrael odorotam. A watch night not only for God, but for all of Israel, for every generation. With our Torah scrolls still out, we say to you who are marching tomorrow, and those who wish they could be marching tomorrow but will be watching it on live stream or be at least there in spirit, may it be that you fulfill that prayer that Abraham Joshua Heschel issued so many years ago, that tomorrow you pray with your feet, and that you in your presence there tomorrow on this Shabbat, make this a Shabbat of justice, a Shabbat of righteousness, and a Shabbat of light. And be reminded that darkness, no matter how long it lasts, is always followed by light. And let us say together, Amen. Yashar Koach to all of you for tomorrow, and you guys can go sit down. We will rise now for Hagbah and Glilah, the lifting up and dressing of our Sefer Torah, and we'll remain standing as we put our Torah back in the ark. V'zot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei b'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. a tree
of life.
To them that hold fast to it, and all its supporters are. Happy it is a tree of life. To them that hold fast to it, and all its supporters are.
Happy.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, 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 shalom.
Some of you might have heard this anecdote from me before, but it's a good one, so I'm okay with sharing it again. It's a true story. The energy in the room was palpable. All of camp had gathered together for the Zimriah, the culminating event of Maccabiah, Color War, which is the culminating event of the summer. For the past 3 days, camp, divided into 4 teams, had spent hours learning their songs for this competition between sporting events and trivia contests. After days of red, green, blue, and gold, the camp was dressed mostly in black and white. For me, it felt like my life had kind of come full circle. As an alumna of Camp Harlem, I got the honor of being one of the judges for the Zim, as it's fondly known. The rain came down outside, which had become par for the course during the last week of camp. But the noise of the room soon drowned out the sound of thunder. The camp sat down in teams with us, the judges, in the middle of the room. And then the singing began. The gold team sang their Hebrew song with energy, and then the blue team started to sing, their spirits high, the smiles of the faces of the campers and staff with joy in their voices. And then the power went out. All of camp went black. Even the generators had blown. And without skipping a beat, the blue team continued to sing. The energy of their music, bringing us through those first moments of darkness. Soon the director, flashlight in hand, rose to the front of the room to give direction, and after a brief period of reorganizing, the Zim went on. Each team sang, everyone else who could find a flashlight or a contraband cell phone, brought out just for this occasion, mysteriously carried in backpacks, stood around the team that was singing so they could see the words. People coming by with lights towards us, the judges, so that we could fill out the score sheets. The Zim ended. The camp director got up to announce what was going to happen next. The plan was for the supervisors and faculty to get into our cars and light the road back to the cabins so the campers could get back there safely and get some sleep. And as he rose his hand to quiet all of camp, said the words, "Here is what's going to happen next," the lights came back on. During those few hours, I realized something important was happening. What really got the community through what could have been a horrible experience was the community itself. The real light came not from the glow of cell phone screens and the beam of flashlights, but from the spirit that was in the room. The spirit of cooperation, the ruach of songs being shared, the feeling one gets in a community like that. In that moment of darkness, camp found its greatest light. Light is a powerful symbol, and so is darkness. And it's no mistake that when we read the plagues this week, that the penultimate plague is darkness. As the plagues get worse and worse and worse, darkness comes almost at the end. So what is it that makes darkness so bad? The text tells us that this was a darkness so dark that you could feel it. It was an inability to find light, although the text also notes that the Israelites, they had light in their homes, perhaps not because the darkness didn't touch them, but because they knew a way to see through it. In Mishkan Tefillah, our prayer book, we read in one of the footnotes, the darkness of the first day differed from the darkness that preceded creation. God mixed light into the primordial darkness, and the tiniest sparks of light can transform darkness. Perhaps the Israelites knew that already. The light, this light, prevented people from even beginning to find that light if they didn't want to. But there was more to it. This darkness, so dark that it was palpable, that sages tell us was so dark that one couldn't see the face of their friend. Real darkness, then, is the inability to help each other or to find a way out. Real darkness is the inability to see humanity in the face of others. Last weekend, we celebrated the life of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, a man who celebrated diversity, who recognized in others the faces of friends. Looking especially at his friendships with Rabbis Maurice Eisendrath and Abraham Joshua Heschel, he found friends despite difference. He looked beyond faces in order to find the humanity within. Like Martin Buber taught, he found I-thou relationships with which he could truly connect with others for whom they truly are. Refusing to be blinded by the darkness of his time, he sought to rise up the humanity of all around him. He inspired others to do the same. And in this era of Me Too, we see so many instances of those who do not find this light. We see light being shed on those who have not viewed others for the human beings that they are, but as conquests that they can achieve. They see the bodies while ignoring the faces. They bring darkness. And it is in this time that light is finally being shed on many of those situations. As many of us march tomorrow in the name of women's rights, may we be aware of the light that can be shed into dark situations and dark places. But more importantly, may we teach others, especially young people, to not only see, but to honor the faces of friends and to see that potential in all people. We read recently so much in the news about disconnection between people who are different, people not truly seeing the humanity with those with whom they disagree. In this modern plague of darkness, we cut out those who have a different point of view or different ideals. We shut out and shut up the voices behind the faces that are obscured by pixels on our screens or by the light that we allow to penetrate disagreements. Perhaps we can find ways to shed light, to see the faces of friends that peek out, even in the disguise of enmity. Perhaps we can bring light into a darkness that shadows potential. Just today, I read a blog post by my friend and classmate, my Chavruta partner, Rabbi Jason Rosenberg. In it, he wrote about a teaching of Rabbi Joseph Soloveitchik, who essentially began what we now know as modern Orthodox Judaism. As Rabbi Rosenberg teaches, Soloveitchik taught that God simply wanted the people, slaves who had just come out of the house of bondage, to emerge from their isolation and insane self-centeredness into the chesed community, where the little that man has is too much for himself. Rabbi Rosenberg further elaborates on Soloveitchik's idea, to emerge from our insane self-centeredness. What a phrase, and what a great definition of freedom, the ability to emerge from our insane self-centeredness. And I found his words resonant with the world of justice, and quite dissonant with much of the hatred and anger, and with the treatment of the other that I see in the news. What is freedom? Freedom is defined and symbolized by our ability and our willingness to emerge from our insane self-centeredness, and to instead live with a nation built on caring for each other. Back to the story I began with. The next day, while the faculty were talking to the camp director, he told us that when he drove around camp as the Zimriah continued, it was pitch black, except for the light on the Ner Tamid on top of Chapel on the Hill, the iconic space of Camp Harlem where Friday night services are usually held, where generations of campers have experienced Shabbat. I'm not sure whether I believe the facts of his story about that Ner Tamid, but I know I believe in that story, that even in darkness, there can be light, and that some lights truly are eternal. And so I end with this prayer. Would that we never know darkness so deep that we cannot find its end. Would that we live around lights that are always present. Would that we always be able to see the faces of others for whom they truly are, and thus always have light. Would that we could see a world built on caring for one another. Would that we be among those who shed light into the darknesses of our own time. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's will, and may this be our will. Yeah.
Let's turn back in our prayer books to page 282. Page 282 at the bottom of the page as we rise for Aleinu L'Shabbat. On page 288. Page 288. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the streets beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. If you are in the first 30 days of your mourning, I invite you to rise at this time. And if you are in the first year of your mourning, I invite you to rise. If on this Shabbat you observe a yahrzeit, I invite you to rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise to remember those whom only we can remember, I invite you to do so as we turn to page 294 and we join together. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayedachol beit Yisrael ba'agalav v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalom araba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We remember Marion Stein, Rose Abrams, Nathan Barnett, Edward Balloon, Minnie Bush, Leon Chambers, Leo Chertel, Phyllis Coben, Carl Coben, Fanny Kramer, Ruth Eisenman, Esther Finger, Samuel Greenbaum, Phyllis Harris, Joseph Calvin, Yetkin Katz, Sylvan B. Koffler, Marion Samet Levenberg, Leonard Lipstein, Minnie Markel, S. Thomas Miller, John Meidelman, Adolf Schenker, Saul Salzberg, Deborah Stein, Harvey Weiner, Mayor Weiner, Reba Wetstein. And I would ask if you have a name to add, feel free to do so as my eyes scan around the room.
Bruce, Irene, Zachary, William, and Matthew Steinberg.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing as we say, Amen. Please be seated. Yasher koach to Rabbi Capel, Yasher koach to Sarah Kittinger for leading us in music while our cantor is on sabbatical this week. Always a joy to have you up on the bima, and fun this week for you to have a member of your fan club from your Sunday morning religious school class.
I have two.
Joining you. Two.
I have two.
Two even.
One on each side.
Very nice. Very good. Please look at your Sabbath lights. You'll see there's a lot going on. For example, next Friday, if you come here, that's wonderful. We won't be here. We're going to be at Beth Shalom for Federation Shabbat, and I would even if you haven't signed up for the dinner, I would strongly encourage you to come over to Federation Shabbat. As you know, it's such a wonderful experience and really unique in this country to have Jews from so many different denominations, so many different walks of life coming together to celebrate Shabbos together. So hope you will join us for that. This coming Sunday, you should have gotten a postcard or should have seen this as you walked in. I'm going to be on the pulpit for the celebration of the 45th anniversary of Roe v. Wade. We did this last year as well for the 44th anniversary. This time, last year it was at First Unitarian on 202. This year it's at New Ark, that's the name of it, New Ark UCC Church in Newark, Delaware. They're punny, what can I tell you? But the address is on here. There's also a Facebook event, and it'll be on the Planned Parenthood website. So I would encourage you to come and join us for that interfaith experience. That's 4 p.m. Sunday in Newark. Lots else going on in our community. Again, look to your Sabbath lights to see and to get inspired and to come and join and do. With that, we'll conclude our service as we began it by joining together in song. And I'm going to turn to Sarah to announce the page number.
We are on page 321 with Adon Olam.
Let's rise.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Li'ed Nasa B'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Be'acharei Kichot HaKol Levado Himloch Nora Be'hu Haya Be'hu Hoveh Be'hu Yeh B'tifara Be'hu Yeh B'tifara Be'hu Echad Be'ein Sheni Le'man Shilo Le'havira Be'li Reshit Be'li Tachlit Be'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Be'lo Ha'oz Ve'ha'misra Be'hu Eli Be'chai Go'ali Be'tzor Chedli Be'etzara Be'hu Nisi U'manosli Menat Kosi Be'yom Ekra Menat Kosi Be'yom Ekra Be'yano Avgid Rufi Be'et Ishan Be'ahira Be'im Rufi Giviati Adonai mi Velo Ira Adonai mi Velo Ira.
Let's join together in Hamotzi and then join each other for Oneg Shabbat. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our prayer is joyfully said. Baruch atah Adonai Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbos.